Featuring in sports tonight, Sunday, May 26. Tony Lockett has a blinder. Plugger booting 11 goals for the Swans as they annihilate the Bears. Raiders on the rampage in home territory. Noah Nandruku, one of several soldiers starring for Canberra. The Melbourne Knights, kings of the National Soccer League for the second year in a row. And Australian Shane Sutar losing it in Italy but lives to tell the story. Hello and welcome, I'm Leith Mulligan. Also tonight, Chicago Bulls go 3 up in the NBA, the 500cc Grand Prix, netball, hockey and motor racing. But first tonight, AFL and the Swans are soaring. Sydney humbling competition high flyers Brisbane. Tony Lockett starring for the Swans, booting in 11 goals. Sydney downing the Bears by 58 points.
Before a big home crowd, Craig O'Brien scored the first goal of the match for Sydney.
Lockett's going to shepherd it through.
The Swans keen to stay in the top 8, with Richmond hoping to take their spot. Tony Lockett gave them a good start. Lockett marked over the top of 3 Bears defenders, displaying his skills in the goal square and strengthening Sydney's lead. Alistair Lynch put through a much-needed goal for Brisbane from a tough angle. Akamana scored his second, and Sydney's lead had dwindled to 4 points at half-time. The Swans dominated the third quarter, Lockett's strong marking a major factor. The Swans' barrage continued as Lockett's bodywork earned his 8th goal. Lockett's 9th gave Sydney a 45-point lead.
He's got it.
Akamanis brought that back to 39 for the final turn. Lockett finished the game with a massive total of 11 of the Swans' 21 goals in an impressive 58-point win over Brisbane. Eager to reverse Fremantle's recent poor form, Luke Toyer put the first score on the board.
Swings it round and first goal to the Dockers.
With 4 wins and 4 losses, the Tigers were hungry for a victory in the West, and Chris Naish answered with their first.
Richmond go forward. Goal.
Marking a good kick from Wayne Campbell cost Brendan Gale a contact lens, but earned a goal.
Kicks the Tigers' second goal.
When Jeff White booted this goal, Fremantle was 15 points ahead of Richmond. Wayne Campbell snapped an amazing goal over his head to reduce the Dockers' margin.
That's pretty good.
The lead continued to change, and Fremantle was 4 points ahead of the Tigers at half-time, thanks to a Brad Rowe goal.
That is not a bad sort of a kick for a goal. A beauty.
Daniel Bandy's athletic style was proving valuable all over the field for Fremantle. Brad Rowe's second goal built Fremantle's momentum in a reversal of last week's form against Fitzroy. Matthew Burton's height advantage stretched the lead to 27 points. The Dockers went into the final term 40 points in front of Richmond.
Who takes the kick? It needs to bounce accurately, and it does.
A strong Fremantle finish sent the tired Tigers home with a 54-point deficit. The game between Carlton and St Kilda was close until the third quarter, when the Blues took control. Captain Stephen Kernahan put through his second goal for a 10-point lead. Brett Ratton followed up with another in 30 seconds to increase the lead. The Saints were beginning to miss opportunities, Stuart Lowe giving away a chance to score. Kernahan continued to lead by example. And Greg Williams was among Carlton's 5 goals for the term, the Blues eventually 22-point winners.
New South Wales League selectors have stuck with their winning formula for the second State of Origin match. The team which won the opening game of the series so convincingly has been retained. That means Brasher keeps the fullback spot ahead of Brett Mullins. Laurie Daly is still in the centres. Once again, a makeshift hooker in Andrew Johns, but it all worked before, why not it again? The Queensland team will be named tomorrow. 2 matters on the field, and Newcastle held on to down Auckland on a cold and miserable New Zealand winter's day. Just as cold in Canberra, but not as miserable for the home team. The Raiders crushing the Bears.
The trip south didn't seem too bad for the Bears early, a penalty putting them 2-0 up. But they were soon wishing they'd hibernated. A slick Canberra racing away to a 14-2 lead.
There's more trouble.
The Raiders continued the onslaught, the scoreline blowing out to 26-2 at the break.
Gets a pass away. It might be play on. It is. Mamendo.
About the only good news for the Bears, Mal Meninga was only running around in a half-time charity match. It didn't matter. Daly, Mullins, Hetherington and Nandruku starring as the Raiders continued their pillage.
Inside the North Sydney half. They come out for Wiki. Inside for Nandruku. He puts on the step. And who's there? Another back rower. Kennedy.
Norths eventually got across the line.
It's 6 more tackles. Butner heads for the line. He puts the foot down.
But their 2 second-half tries were in vain. Canberra completing the demolition 46-12.
They've hit them with a double whammy. Nandruku riding shotgun, and Nagus takes the try.
The Knights found the conditions and locals anything but hospitable on their first trip to Auckland. After crossing for an early try, winger John Kerwin quickly responded.
Party inside to Cohen. John Cohen!
The Johns brothers combined to put Newcastle back in front, and Kevin Beecham's second gave the visitors a 14-6 half-time lead.
And Beecham is in for his second.
After swapping tries after the break, Newcastle found out why others fear the trip across the Tasman. 10 points down, the Warriors, inspired by the crowd, stormed back within 4, but finished a metre or 2 short of the upset. The Knights coming away from Auckland with a rare 2 points, winning 20-18.
Great game, great show, great beer. Rugby League, Sports Tonight and Tooheys Red, packing you into the front row all season long.